Welcome back in. This is the High School Fan Zone on a Monday night, first Monday after Easter. And as I mentioned, Ralph Ramon, Monterey baseball coach, is with me. He's been teaching for a while. So I'm married to a teacher. I know once you get past Easter, you don't, and especially since you're coaching baseball, you don't want the year to hurry up and get done because you still got some work to do in that part of your job. But as a teacher, I remember talking to Jill Snyder actually about this time last year when she announced her retirement. She said, yeah, I'm going to be excited when this year's over. Yeah. So teachers, you have a different way of looking at things, and so do your spouses. I will vouch for that. So
it's a big week for our students. So we got the state testing coming up. So we got to root those guys on to perform well on that STAR test. So still got some work to do in the classroom for sure.
When I've got a senior at Lubbock High, and when she was talking about it, I'm an old dude, so I had to take. Back then, you had to take some sort of test. I don't remember stressing out about it.
Right.
Now, that may be because I wasn't a bad student, but that wasn't, how do I say this as politely as possible? I was more interested in some of the stuff, the extracurricular sports and other stuff going on in my life. So let's just leave it at that before I get in trouble with everybody who might listen to me. But like I said, you guys have some business to tend to. A little bit different week for the Plainsmen. Coming off of last week was Lubbock High last week?
It was Tascosa.
I haven't spoken to you since Lubbock High. Those two games against Lubbock High, your two games against Coronado and your two games against Lubbock High are kind of emblematic of this district.
Absolutely.
Just fighting and scratching and clawing, and nobody's going to blink.
With crosstown rivalry to put on top of that. The Coronado series was very competitive, back and forth. Squeaked the first one out there at the end. Had a really good opportunity there at the end of the second one with one of our guys at the plate. He did hit it hard, but sometimes it just doesn't go your way. But we learned a lot from that series about playing 7 innings, and they've done that. Moving forward from that series and then into the Lubbock High series again, another crosstown rival. They're going to give you everything they got. They always do, especially when it's Lubbock High Monterey. And they played very well. They made the plays. They pitched well. Pretty sure they threw a freshman at us on that Saturday, and I was very impressed with what he did. Coach Gomez and Coach Bibb do a great job with their programs, and they compete well against the Plainsmen.
The good news for you guys is you bounce back against, and not that the games against the Amarillo teams don't count. They count just the same, and you don't want your guys to relax. But you guys didn't relax. You came back, and the 2 wins you got last week I thought were impressive because you took care of business against a Tascosa team that's trying to stay in the hunt. Yeah,
they're pretty scrappy. They got some guys that can hit. They don't have many holes in their lineup at all, and I was so proud of our guys. Every single guy that puts that Columbia blue and red on to fight back and be all in it for each other and for the guys playing. It was really cool to see, and we played well. We hit it well. We pitched well, and we defended well. And we're just getting better and better, and that's good to see from a coach's standpoint.
I kind of buried the lead there. You came back and played those 2 games well because Lubbock High got you in the second game in 11 innings.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And I kept watching Game Changer, thinking, is it stuck? Is it frozen?
Yeah.
Nope. It just kept going. Kept going deep into the night. And you came back and got those 2 wins. I've mentioned this week's a little bit different. You have, I guess, what qualifies as the bye week in your district. But instead of just coasting and taking it easy, you guys invite an Abilene High team that I watched in the playoffs a few years ago. I don't know if they're quite at that same level, but a few years ago they gave Lubbock Cooper all they wanted in the bye district round. And their coach has been there a little bit. Am I correct?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure this is 5th or 6th year. Coach Brad Harmon. And he's a phenomenal coach. I deal with Brad a lot, being a director on our baseball association. He's right up there at the top of that association, so I get to visit with him a lot, and I'll pick his brain just about how they go about stuff. And he does a good job with that group. He's a good coach. He's a hard-nosed coach. But yeah, no relaxing for the Plainsmen when Abilene High comes to town tomorrow.
That's a Tuesday night game, and then it's right back into the frying pan, and you're not just jumping into the frying pan, you're going right where it's as hot as possible. Sandy's come to town. I'm going to talk about the standings when we come back. They're in first place right now. Every once in a while, Amarillo High's not really cyclical. They're always pretty good, but this is one of their really good teams. So we'll talk a little bit more about that. you got this week. I talked to Chad Reynolds last Thursday. Was their last game. You guys had a mini break, all of you, a little extra built-in day. Does that give you guys a chance to kind of get healthy, get to where you need to be for this stretch run?
Yes, it does. Absolutely. I mean, we have one guy that's a big part of our offense. Logan Casadas has pulled his hamstring, so he's been able to get that rested up, and hopefully he can get back in the lineup on Saturday.
First things first, Tuesday night at Magle Field, 6:30?
Yes, sir.
6:30 p.m. Abilene High comes to town, and then Amarillo High on Saturday. We'll come back after this break and talk more about Monterey baseball in the high school fan zone on 100.7 The Score.
Bringing you the latest news from Monterey Athletics. This is the Plainsman Fan Zone Podcast from 100.7 The Score.
Welcome back in. This is the high school fan zone on 100.7 The Score. Ralph Ramon, the Monterey baseball coach, is with me. We were just talking about a kid. So to pull the curtain back, my Kansas City Royals are on the TV in front of us. We just saw Bobby Witt, who I'm obviously a big fan of. Ralph, and he got a chance to coach against him in 2019.
Yep. Regional
championship round. It was the first year of HubCpreps.com, and I was there. And I brag about you guys all the time because I say there's Colleyville Heritage that was basically, I don't want to say recruited, but let's say put together to win a state championship. Yeah. And there's the Monterey Plainsmen, who are kids who drink from the water hose and roll their sleeves up and have rips in their uniform. Yeah. You guys gave them everything they wanted for 3 games.
Yeah, that's Coach Metter used to always call them, because I think 1 through 9 everybody was going somewhere.
Yep, I believe that's true.
He called them the college or Colleyville University.
Yep.
But just going back to your point, that's who our kids are. You know, they're gritty kids. They're tough kids. They play hard. Sometimes, a lot of the time, you don't have to ask them to play hard because that's just what they do. And that's what I love about this program, and it's been that way for a very long time, even from the beginning. It's just built with tough kids and kids that play tough baseball.
And right now, that gritty team is right in the thick of the race. I'm going to call up the schedule moving forward here while we're doing that. Monterey is 8-2 in district, right behind Amarillo High and Lubbock Cooper, who both have 1 loss. Right above Coronado, which has 3 losses. Coronado kind of navigated that first 3 weeks just to kind of be even keel, and now I have a feeling they're going to kind of find a gear. I think you and I have talked about this. I know Brad Bibb and I have. There's parts of your schedule where you can never say we're going to win these games. You have to say we can win these games, but we need to kind of get something to go there because baseball's so streaky. You guys, first of all, you're 8-2. That's a nice place to be, especially after last year. You can't really – you get into Amarillo High. Let me call that back up because you guys have a little bit more meat on the schedule starting Saturday. Saturday is Amarillo High at your place. I'm behind. There we go. And then you play them up there next Tuesday.
I think it's flipped.
Okay. So you're on the road Saturday?
On the road Saturday, okay. And then we go there.
All right.
Or they come here Tuesday.
Okay.
We talked about that today. The front end of our schedule, those are games that you should take care of. Obviously, we didn't, but that's baseball, like you said. And we always like to talk about you're really playing against the game. You know, we always like to be thankful for the team in the other dugout, or else we wouldn't get to play.
Yep.
But we took care of business for the most part of the front end. But what I like about it is that we got your traditional good baseball teams coming up, and you want to play against those teams there at the back end. That way you have some steam, some confidence rolling into the playoffs. So our kids are ready for them. They'll be ready. But again, we're just playing baseball, and we're playing against the game. Hit the ball where it's pitched, make the routine play, and throw strikes, and that's what we focus on. And like I said, we're just thankful that we get to play, and that's how our kids approach it.
Your young guys have grown up a little bit now. When I say young guys, I don't count Ashton as a young guy anymore. You watch Ashton. I'm not going to put too much on his shoulders, but that kid's among the sophomores in Lubbock, Texas right now, I don't know that he's got many peers. That kid's, you can just look at him and see he's a little bit different. I think Brad Bibb called him a unicorn.
Yeah, he's definitely got some talent.
Ashton Castillo.
Yeah, Ashton's got a lot of talent. But I think, with him being around this senior class, he's learned some things, how to be a leader, how to, approach to the plate and stuff like that, because he's only 15. I think he turns 16 here pretty soon. But he's just been around a bunch of good guys that have helped him, that have helped shape him into the baseball player he can be. And just thankful he plays for the Plainsmen for sure. But love the fact that he's with a good bunch of guys, especially that senior group.
And you're going to be on here in a few weeks again. We've got a lot of season left. But the younger guys that I mentioned, is there one or two that's elevated here recently that's kind of, I want to say surprised you because you're around them all the time, but somebody who's starting to make a little bit of a difference?
Yeah, this kid came to us as a catcher only, Anthony Delgado. But we have Joaquin who's been that guy for us for a long time.
He's been there since a freshman year.
Since his freshman year. He was the first freshman I pulled up when I got the job. But Anthony Delgado was willing to make that move to the outfield, and he's played a tremendous outfield for us. He's also played third, and he's one of our top arms on the mound. So he's definitely been a great surprise. But I knew he could do it. He's just a hardworking kid that loves to play the game, and he hates to lose, and he hates to let his teammates down. And but that's that kind of stuff, especially at a young age, you don't see very often. But this young group of sophomores, they love it. They love to play. Another one would be Logan Casadas. He's our DH guy. Ran into a little injury there 2 weeks ago. Pulled his hammy, so we've had to use him in a different light. We'll pinch hit him for somebody, and he'll get a hit. But that hamstring is tough to get rid of.
Yep.
It'll tug on you, even though you're feeling great before the first pitch is thrown. You hit the ball and run down the line. There it is, just lingering on you. But that young group has been very good. Very, very proud of that group. And there's more. That JV squad's full of those sophomores that love to play the game, and it's been fun to watch.
To me, it helps when you've got seniors. It helps them to have a group that they know, I'm passing this torch, and I'm passing it to somebody who's going to take it, and they're going to do something.
And that you can say that about Andres Palomo, who's He's got ate up some innings for us on the mound, and he had to grow up real quick in that Coronado game.
Yep.
And he did it. And like I said, just that group of sophomores that works hard and definitely proud of them. But again, they're around a good bunch of guys. Like I said, that senior class has done it the right way. They approach it the right way, and that's going to help them along in their future.
Well, one thing about the Plainsmen this year is they're showing resiliency, because you have a rough season last year. There's been no lingering effect. I think that's been cool to watch. But they've still got a lot of season left, a lot of things left to accomplish. Say 8-2 in district, non-district on Tuesday, go up to Amarillo High on Saturday, and then we're starting to hit the home stretch of the season here. So we'll come back after this break and talk. We'll switch back to track and field, talk to the Memorial folks when we come back in the Panther Fan Zone on 100.7 The Score.